Hey, Red Thread, you like conspiracies and pop culture references and whatnot? Well, then maybe you might like my show that is coming to the United States, where most of you are. Thank you very much for watching this humble Australian and his dear friend. I'm going to San Francisco, I'm going to Portland, I'm going to Washington, I'm going to Vancouver. Yeah, it's in the United States, deal with it. Chicago, Ferndale, Toronto is also in the United States. Fact, Boston, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, not in the United States. Learn your geography, Yanks. Washington, Atlanta, Orlando, Dallas, and Los Angeles. If you are in any of those cities, I'm coming with my brand new show, which is critically acclaimed, and by critically acclaimed, I mean I personally like it. Make sure that you get your tickets, links below.
Welcome to Red Thread, again, part 2 of the Wanda Beach Murders. We're back, and this time in a different hotel room, and in a different city, and a different state, and a different time zone. This time, we're coming to you directly from, where are we? Chicago? Chicago.
So.
Home of the Deep Pan Pizza, or whatever the fuck it's called, and
Harry Potter merch stores, I assume, because I looked out my window and there was one there.
You had a good view?
Of the Harry Potter merch store.
Well, that's what I consider a good view.
He's very excited about that view.
You see how excited I got? My view was an alleyway with a blinking red light all night, which was very annoying.
And some nice buildings. That's one thing that I will give Chicago. It's lovely.
I told you, this place is this is where the skyscraper was invented.
Yeah, and I think that, as always, you've come up with a statement that is grandiose and not... Like, you can't invent skyscrapers, can you?
Well, you can. It's got to be... The first skyscraper was the invention of the skyscraper.
Yeah, but what about, like, really tall churches?
No.
Or what about the first person that came up with a 2-story house? Why isn't that a skyscraper?
Because
when does it qualify as a skyscraper?
Skyscraper is a specific term for a nice, large, phallic tower above, like, maybe
churches
5
are pretty
floors.
phallic.
Yeah.
And above 5 floors.
No, but it's going to be like a proper 5-floor building. Church.
Wait, so this can't be.
The church.
Jason, are you telling me that a skyscraper qualifies as being 5 stories?
No, it's going to be high. It's going to be more than that.
Man, if 5 stories is the case, like, I'm pretty sure, like, the Babylonians nailed it a little bit quicker than
No, even then, it was Chicago first, even before Babylonia existed.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't realize how old Chicago was.
The native folk of Chicago built the first skyscraper out of their mud and clay.
Yes, okay, and we're really into Art Deco architecture in, like, 3000 BC.
Mm-hmm. And
what? And what else have you got to add to this very factual conversation?
And Chicago is known for being where Batman: The Dark Knight was filmed.
I don't...
And
I know that I'm going to offset every terminally online psycho that watches us, which is the entire audience. Now, get ready to be triggered. Is Gotham City for lack of a better word, metaphor for Chicago?
Yeah, we were having this argument last night whether or not if it's meant to be New York City or Chicago. Jordan,
I understand that there's gritty elements of New York City, but there's something about... I do like how 20 Chicago feels. Maybe it's supposed to be Spider-Man, I don't know, but one of them has to be Chicago, doesn't it? Like, Chicago really feels like a place that, yes, it's big, yes, it's still thriving, but it really feels like its heyday was in the 20s.
Can we rule out that it could potentially have been Atlantic City?
Yes.
Right,
and in this vein, can we also rule out that it wasn't Tucson or it wasn't Ferndale?
Little Rock.
Or Little Rock or New Plymouth. Was Gotham City based off of the regional the regional electorate of Washington State?
How good is it to be recording in the same room? Because, like, we're recording in the bed we just slept in. and now we get to hop up and record immediately.
Jackson, welcome to my life.
It's awesome.
You have no idea how many red threads I've recorded like that.
It's awesome.
And many self-help videos as well of like, you've just got to get up, get the day started,
just like
get
me.
active. Yeah.
Just like me. This is clearly the life you should try to attain. By being able to get up from your bed, hop back in your bed, and then immediately record and make money.
Well, actually, you know what?
Like some cheap.
It is kind of baller now that I think about it. I was originally paying myself out, and now I'm giving myself pats on the back. That's mad.
Yeah, it's pretty mad. It's
and also also a job where you are getting paid while in bed, accusing everyone else of being a lazy shit that doesn't know how to hustle.
The hustle culture. Okay, so this week we're continuing on with the last week's episode, which was about the Wanda Beach Murders. This is the part 2. We're going to go over the investigation, the persons of interest, the suspects, and we're going to put a nice bow on the subject. Once and for all, we're going to solve it.
Yep.
That's what we're here for.
Who did it?
Oh,
we're not gonna solve that. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna tell if you're asking me a question. Skip to the end. Who did it? Tell me right now.
Yeah, all right. I understand how that's fairly misleading given the circumstances. I was just trying to add on to your sentence.
If you want to add on to Jordan's bank account, you can head on over to the link below to buy tickets to his live show. He's currently touring around the country. That's why we're in
the US.
Chicago. And next we'll be in Detroit, but this will be out by then, so you don't have to go to that one. But if you are in Detroit, you're going to have to make the long trip east because he's going to be in Toronto, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, not Washington, Atlanta, Orlando, Dallas, and then Los Angeles, which is on the other side of the country. So go get your tickets now if you're at all interested in hearing Jordan talk about a very positive thing, which is
aliens existing.
See? You can't get much more positive than that.
No, you really can't, actually.
Jordan earnestly believes
cold case of 2 murders.
Yes.
That's also very positive.
Yeah, clearly, yeah.
Red Thread is all about sharing the love.
Positivity only.
The positivity.
That's why
you too could be a serial killer and live a long, fulfilling life.
That's why we're covering the most depressing topics. We need to ground ourselves for the rest of this very positive trip. You can't have the good without the bad. You can't have the bad without the good.
Yes, it's very wise, Jackson. You didn't have to clean your ear while saying it.
Well, I hope
defeated the purpose.
I hope I was pointing it at the camera.
So good. Saying something like kind of wise and profound while also just be like, come on.
It's an example of what I was saying. You can't have the bad without the good, and I've got a lot of earwax. But it will feel a lot
Jackson
better.
qualifies as the good. Lots of protein in there.
I'm providing for us breakfast.
Oh, sick.
We haven't had breakfast yet. We literally just woke up. Okay, so the investigation, wait, did you just wake up?
No.
Okay, well, that was a lie. Sorry, guys. I guess you can't trust anything on this show. Wait, when did you wake up then?
Probably like 6.
No, okay. Okay, so the investigation, immediate persons of interest. Throughout the immense investigation, several key suspects were highlighted from the witness accounts and stories pieced together from the children's retellings. As mentioned earlier, the Wanda Beach sand dunes attracted nefarious characters and oddballs, making for a convoluted lineup. Here were some of the main people that were initially hoping to question. How good is the word nefarious?
I love nefarious.
Nefarious is such a good word.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit too of a fun term to call it.
Me too. It doesn't sound well. Not even that. Even the word itself, even though I like the word, it probably shouldn't be used to describe somebody who is bad.
Yeah,
it should be used to describe someone
mischievous.
Who's like, cotton candy is a very nefarious affair. It seems like it should be fun, outgoing,
yeah,
delicious.
Yes,
like your earwax.
Yes, can you see it? Do I have a lot?
No, I think that you've got ghost earwax. This is your version of body dysmorphia.
I wish you could see what I see.
Isn't it?
I wish you could see me how I see me.
Like exactly the same as you see it, but there's more earwax. And you can't see that.
Yeah, you can't even see it. But I can feel it. It's in there. All right.
So paranoid.
Number 1, Surfer Boy. The first and most obvious person of interest was the teenage boy with the blue towel that Wolfgang had spotted multiple times. Considering the young man had been seen talking with the girls as they made their way to the dunes, as well as leaving the sandhills alone after the girls went missing, police were quick to move their attention to interviewing him. Wolfgang had only mentioned the Surfer Boy for the first time when detectives took the children back to the crime scene to retrace their steps. Only Wolfgang had spotted the teen, none of the other siblings had. Wolfgang, at just 7 years of age, was the investigator's primary eyewitness for the sighting of the suspect. But that's not a good thing. If you're only your primary eyewitness is a 7-year-old kid who is probably traumatized after, his sister and her best friend were just like brutally murdered in close proximity to him.
Yeah, there's better witnesses, that's true.
Yeah. But due to his age, as well as the trauma and gravity of the investigation, his testimony proved to be a challenge for detectives. His accounts of who and what he saw often changed, not remarkably but frustratingly enough for police to take his discrepant retellings with a grain of salt. For instance, recounts from Wolfgang note that the young surfer team with the blue towel was also carrying gear for crab hunting. Some accounts from Wolfgang note that this was a homemade spear, which he later revised to a fishing knife or both in one critical retelling. Wolfgang told police that he saw the boy with the knife strapped to his waist when talking with the girls, but when he left the sandhills alone 10 minutes later, the knife was gone. Even the sketch artist couldn't derive a reliable likeness, as Wolfgang would agree with everything he said. He was certain, however, that this teen was shirtless, just like me earlier.
Yeah, I told you are one of the suspects in this murder.
Jordan.
You are. You're not wearing a shirt. You've been to a beach before.
No.
You're in Australia.
I've never been to a beach before in my life, and you can't prove it. Also,
likely story.
Whenever Jordan comes into my hotel room, I make it extremely clear to him that I'm sexually interested by remaining shirtless at all times. And yet,
I didn't know where that sentence was going. And I don't think you did either.
Yet he has remained clueless.
Something very quickly.
He has remained clueless to my advances. I can't make it any more clear, other than just admitting it directly to everyone on the request.
And I still remain clueless. Does he like me or not? Yeah.
The police, how oblivious are men in general to like women's advances and such? Like I feel
it's really embarrassing, isn't it? It sucks. It's like okay, terrible at hitting on women, terrible at receiving signals from women,
and receiving signals from Jacksons, which is very sad. The police.
Yeah, but you are, just as we said before, the bearded lady. It'd be so good to see Jackson in a freak show just pretend to be a woman because he's got a beard and just put bearded lady.
I'll make many gold coins from Wilson.
Freak show emporium. Yeah, they just chuck you in a bunch of things. World's most average height man. World's man that wears a shirt the least indoors.
Watch this man be shirtless.
It's incredible. Like, I honestly believe that you could be in an igloo and not wear a shirt. You'd still do it.
All right, you're acting like I don't wear a shirt at all ever.
Yeah, but you don't.
I'm wearing a shirt right now.
Yeah, but you only... This is like your version of wearing a suit to work.
Yeah.
Just a fucking Kmart
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm always wearing a shirt. It's just when I wake up, I'm not wearing a shirt because I've just been naked in bed.
Every time. I don't even know why there is this response. Every time you knock on Jackson's door, there is always a, just a minute. And then he opens the door without a shirt on anyway. Every time.
I had to take my shirt off. It takes time. I had to take my shirt off. I had to get ready. The police made a public call for the teenager to come forward and talk with the police, noting that they didn't believe he was the killer, rather a suspect who could provide vital information. Using the strategy of we only want to talk. Very useful. I mean, yeah, what are you going to do? Put out a call. Hey, can you turn yourself in, please? We're pretty sure you murdered 2 teenagers.
That's way better strategy.
A physical description of a tanned and long-haired youth was publicly released. However, this description matched a large portion of beach dwelling.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, like 90% of them.
That's incredible. Suspects believe he is a blonde teenager that doesn't wear a shirt and likes surfing in Cronulla. So we've narrowed it down to every 15-year-old.
Yeah, somehow we have more suspects now than we did before releasing the statement. This description matched a large portion of beach-dwelling teenagers in the Cronulla area in 1965 and would prove to be too vague. The Wanda Beach Surf Club caretaker informed police that he had shooed away a teenager matching that description a week earlier for harassing 2 young girls. Additionally, a week after the murders, 2 teenage girls were leaving Caringbah Station just a short drive away from Cronulla when they were pounced on by a teenage boy matching the description of the surfer. Ultimately, despite the public appeals, no one came forward. Number 2, boy on the train. Trixie, Marianne's younger sister, who came with them that day to the beach, reported to police that Marianne and Christine had met a boy around the same age as them on the train during their trip to Cronulla. This supported some police suspicions that the murderer was known to the 2 girls before the actual event took place. It is unknown what the 2 girls and the boy talked about. Well, wouldn't it have been Pokemon because Pokemon hadn't been
didn't exist yet, so we can cross that off the list.
Yeah, how crazy is that though? To think of a world where teenagers were talking about things other than Pokemon. They had no concept for it.
Yeah, and the closest thing that they would have been talking about would have been something like Roadrunner. It's such a worse cartoon.
It's so.
I feel sorry for everybody that didn't grow up in specifically our generation.
Yeah, we did have it the best. We had it the best initially, and now we have it the worst. Although, not in this case. Two teenage girls were murdered, so you can't have it much worse than that, honestly.
I feel like my life is worse.
Okay.
As a traveling comedian that gets a tour of the world and has lived a long, pointless life.
Woe is me.
And that's what, a meaningless life. It's a death in a way, isn't it?
Yes, one of life's many little deaths.
That Jackson is familiar with all of those little deaths.
I know them well.
That's going to be his biography, Death by 1,000 Cuts.
But I died by paper cut.
By paper cuts.
You look at the cover.
It's just him complaining about how complicated tax forms is. That's the
Every time I try to do my taxes, I add another little paper cut. And eventually they will add up to my death. I will bleed out.
I'd like to note that all of these paper cuts were accidental. I'm just very clumsy. That's the end.
Could you die from a paper cut?
I would imagine so. If you had 1 billion paper cuts.
Yeah, but no, but they like bleed one little drop of blood and then that's it.
Yeah, but you've only got so many drops of blood.
Yeah, but I feel like by the time you're going through and like giving yourself little paper cuts, eventually you'll just have to replenish the blood.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it's that inefficient?
Yeah, I think it's that inefficient. I don't think you'd be able to do it.
I'm not going to find out. I
Too much.
don't. Yeah, like also on top of that, paper cuts suck.
Yes. That's it.
Well,
it was.
You don't agree?
It was pretty good input. I'll give you that.
Thank you. I live to give.
The children parted ways with the boy. Wait, did I read that? Yep.
Don't squint.
The children parted. I am always squinting. The children parted ways with the boy at Redfern Station
Daddy.
as they squint daddy.
Squint daddy.
Come
here. Come closer. Let me get a look at you.
The closer I get, the more I squint.
Dude, you don't have any. You don't have any fucking earwax. You have phantom earwax.
I have itchy ear syndrome. The children parted ways with
Wait, before we continue on. What did you say yesterday when you went up the stage and your bones started cracking profusely?
When I popped off the stage and like all of my bones like exploded at the same time, so it made a lot. Yeah,
made heaps of cracks. I pointed it out and said, "Whoa, that's a lot of cracks."
And I said,
and his response was,
"Yeah, I said my body is made out of Rice Krispie treats."
But he said it so like he's not saying that. Like he earnestly believes that he's made out of Rice Krispie treats.
It's the only explanation. Bones shouldn't make that noise.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, you have the worst medical knowledge of yourself, Damien. There's all these imagined ailments. genuinely think that your bones are made out of Rice Krispie
And my
treats.
ears are overflowing with you.
Endlessly.
I have a horrible image of myself. It did sound like Rice Krispie treats, though. The children parted ways with the boy at Redfern Station as they transferred to the Southern Line to take them down to Cronulla. As far as we know, he was not seen again by the younger siblings. Although it was potentially a lead for another suspect, the information unfortunately led police nowhere. We come to number 3, local perverts. If this was in the early 2010s, Jordan would be in this example. Luckily...
Why only the 2010s?
Well,
Why not any time?
It was 50 years ago.
Yeah, but if I was alive then, I would be in perverts. Local pervert. That'd be great. I would love to be just on the news pervert one day and it just says like Jordan Shanks, local pervert.
Well, you'd want to be the good angle of that, which would be local kind-hearted pervert saves the day. Saves
local
rescued
pervert with heart of gold.
Does nothing wrong, just pervs. I guess that's something wrong.
A pervert for justice.
Although this suspect category isn't necessarily limited to one specific individual, many tips came in of voyeurs, flashers, and nude sunbathers frequenting
See, voyeur area. Is another word that sounds too classy for what it is.
Yeah, which is just perving on people having sex, right? That's what a voyeur is.
Or just anything, like someone getting nude, staring at someone on the train wearing particularly tight pants. I think that's all voyeurism, isn't it?
So everything you observe is voyeuristic. However, of the many colourful characters known to the area, one particular individual was reported to the police for having propositioned multiple women on the beach prior to the murders. This man had been kicked off the beach multiple times for harassing women and making offensive remarks. He was described as heavier set, which is a kind of way of saying fat as fuck, with mild balding. Mild balding. Ultimately, this person was never named and led to no follow-ups. The public image of Wanda Beach made the aspect of the investigation incredibly difficult. And in retrospect, a critical factor as to how a high-visibility case led to so few leads. Certainly, there were many shifty characters who loitered around the beach who may have known something about the killings, however, although they were unlikely responsible for the murder. Despite this, they were likely unwilling to come forward out of fear of further questioning as to what they were doing in such a notorious pocket of the beach and drawing attention to their other curious activities. Particularly, keeping in mind that this is 1965, Wanda Beach was known for many closeted homosexuals to meet up for casual sex, adding shame as another layer of difficulty to bringing potential witnesses forward. Makes sense. Beaches were known as a hotspot for gay activity in those times.
They still are now.
True, actually, yeah. Not much has changed in that regard.
Every time you go to the beach, you always pick up a man, Jackson.
Yes, every time you go to the beach, you can't stop yourself from having gay sex. 2 more gruesome murders.
Yes, if you're us.
But if you're us, 2 straight men.
2 straight men.
By 1966, the assigned detectives on the case had dropped from 40 to just 8. Now, how much of a reduction is that, Jordan?
30%?
No, it's going to be more than that. It's over half.
Okay, yes, it is clearly over 30%, Jackson.
Well, then why did you say it?
Because I was saying a comically low example, and then you're sitting there being like, hang on.
That can't be right.
Let me just squint more. Maybe that'll pop the answer in my head. Suck my ears itchy again.
Am I squinting a lot? I feel like I am.
Yeah, you are squinting heaps. I don't know why.
I don't know either. I think it's just because I woke up and my eyes haven't had time to fully relax into their natural resting state.
Of squinting.
Slightly less squinting.
Relax squinting. I really do like that as a nickname. Squint Daddy.
Amidst the frustration and waning efforts, the surrounds of southern Sydney would soon be plagued with 2 more heinous murders that sparked a renewed interest in the investigation. On the 29th of January 1966, a single day and multiple decades after my birthday, a year after the murders at Wanda Beach, a 56-year-old woman by the name of Wilhelmina Kruger was found dead at Piccadilly Shopping Arcade in Wollongong. Just like Marianne and Christine, she had been brutally stabbed to death in a frenzied and violent attack. Kruger's mutilated body was found at the bottom of a stairwell at 5:45 a.m., having been assaulted 3 floors above and dragged downstairs. She was naked from the chest down. A strand of blonde hair was also found at the scene. I remember Wolfgang had said that the teenager was a youth of blonde hair. But yeah, that's pretty. It's always surprising to me when those kinds of crimes are committed in public hotspots like shopping centers. I get that it was at like 5 a.m., so it probably wasn't very busy. But still, being that confident.
Yeah, I know. The chances of getting caught,
Yeah, there's still
got to say, fairly high. The sand dune point. Look,
the sand dune.
I was thinking about this more. You know, when you were saying previously the Wanda Beach murders, and I'd never heard of them before, and I was like, no. And then something in the back of my head after I said that was thinking like, no, I definitely have heard this. And it's just because I've just gone through so many. I can't believe that I forgot this. You know that there's like a big theory that this is by Ivan Milat, right?
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, but you can go on.
No, it's it would make sense. It really would.
Yeah, because he would have traveled away from the location. He would have felt comfortable doing that.
Well, he was a very prolific Australian serial killer. Like the killings that he has here matches his profile.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
it's right in the time zone.
It's not impossible. Yeah, and I think if you're a traveling serial killer like that, and you're so for example, he lived. Where did he live?
Well, many places, but a big chunk of his hunting grounds was the Greater Sydney area.
Yeah.
So your Wollongongs, your Blue Mountains, the actual city.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think it's definitely possible. Like you said, he was active at the time, and it fits his like target profile basically.
And also, it's not at all conspiracy to suggest. I don't know if you don't know anything about Ivan Milat. That is our most famous serial killer by a mile.
Yeah,
and he could be the most prolific serial killer in human history. That's not a contentious point. Like, police think that he is responsible for hundreds of murders.
Yeah, but he was only pinned for
like 5 or something. Yeah,
5 or so. But he was active for such a long time, and it seemed like it was his entire life was abducting and killing women, and well, yeah, just anyone really,
and being a necro, which it seems like he was being a necro to these.
Yeah. One witness saw an old cream-colored vehicle with the plywood canopy speeding away from the scene at around 4:55 a.m. The witness described the driver as tall and disheveled. Given that the murder scene was just an hour's drive south of Wanda, the chaotic and vicious nature of the attack, and a loose connection that both Schmidt and Kruger were German, police suspected that this murder may have been the work of the Wanda Beach killer. On the 26th of February, just weeks later, the body of 24-year-old sex worker Anna Toskayoa Dowling-Hoa was found strangled and stabbed on the side of Old Illawarra Road in Lucas Heights 10 days after going missing. Lucas Heights is also only a short drive away from Cronulla. The injuries sustained by the woman were likened to that of the Jack the Ripper killings. So you're saying it's Ivan Milat. Could it potentially have been Jack the Ripper?
I suppose so. That also timeline's right, doesn't it? Because Jack the Ripper was killing in the 1800s?
Yeah, which is fairly close to the 1900s.
Which is fairly close, yes. In the grand scale of history,
yeah,
it's only really just a stone's throw away.
And who's to say that he wouldn't have lived longer than 100 years?
Exactly, especially with anything that I've ever learned about Victoria. There seems to be a lot of life miracle potions that contain mercury in them.
Exactly, so we can't rule it out. Keep that on your list, guys.
Yeah. Anyone that has ever been murdered in history is because of Jack the Ripper. That is a theory.
Both gruesome murders are believed to be connected, leading members of the public and some investigators to believe that all 3 crimes were committed by the same person. However, to this day, neither murders have been solved or conclusively linked to each other. Now we come to the prime suspects. Unfortunately, case breakthroughs and suspect leads for the Wanda Beach murders continued to dry up over the years, and the numbers of assigned detectives and allocated resources continued to dwindle. That being said, there are a few names that have cropped up over time that many, including the police, believe could be connected to the murders. There are some deeply disturbed killers who could have well been in the Cronulla area at the time and may have had reason to commit such a heinous crime. However, none of these have officially been charged with the murders. Now, all of these suspects are incredibly fucked. I'll give you a warning about that.
Really?
We don't go into like extensive detail here, but these people, each one of these people are like evil individuals. First up is a man by the name of Alan Bassett. Bassett was reportedly a quiet and relatively normal young man.
He does look fucked immediately. You don't really need to say this whole paragraph. Look at his face. Fuck.
Don't do that.
Looks like you.
Don't do that.
Reading.
Don't go, he looks fucked. Oh my God, there's no way he's not a serial killer.
Yeah, no, just
wait a second.
I did that and then.
Don't do that.
But like, come on, Jackson, look, that is you trying to read this sheet.
He's got like a down face. I've got like just a pure round.
No. Yeah, it's not really to do with the actual face. It's more just the facial expression you pull while reading this script. That's it. Just remember.
I think I told you about this, but I did like the comment. There was a comment on last week's episode that said, "How do they have a square and a round face?"
That was perfect.
We're like a podcast of geometries.
Yes.
It's great. On the 10th of June, 1966, Bassett was 21 years old and met a 20-year-old Carolyn Orphan at a local dance in Wollongong. The two got talking and eventually Bassett offered her a ride home, which she accepted. Unfortunately, Carolyn never made it home as Bassett attacked, raped, and murdered her, dumping her body on the side of the road. She'd been tied up, strangled, and hit over the head with a rock. Fuck, that's always so brutal. The murders that involve just like actually stoning the person to death, fucking brutal. Bassett was quickly identified and charged with her murder. Despite the horrific nature of her death, Bassett asked to be found guilty of manslaughter rather than murder, claiming that he had no idea what had come over him and that he didn't mean to kill her. He was found guilty of the murder and was diagnosed with schizophrenia shortly afterwards, being sent to Morisset Psychiatric Hospital near Newcastle. Although Carolyn's murder was somewhat different in execution than that of Christine, Marianne, Wilhelmina, and Anna, people were quick to draw comparisons between the savage and sexual nature of the murders, and many considered him to be the killer of all of these women. Living in Wollongong, Bassett was also a local to all of the murder scenes, so much so that he lived 5 minutes away from the shopping arcade where Wilhelmina Kruger's body was found, and an hour drive away from the other murder scenes. Further investigation by police also revealed that Bassett was in the Cronulla area around the time of the Wanda Beach murders. One person of note took particular interest in Bassett's possible connection to the murders. Detective Seth Johnson was convinced that Bassett had committed all of these murders. Reportedly, he became obsessed with trying to pin Bassett with the murders and getting him to confess, to the point that the obsession became unhealthy, and it was recommended that he resign from the police. Well, that's just passionate police work, trying to pin all these
everything on one person.
Guy. Yeah, it's efficient.
The man has a hobby. Well, also, look, I would very much like to know where all of these men went to school, because there is another theory about Ivan Milat that has been backed up by a couple of other crims that I was listening to, and this politician in New South Wales that is obsessed with Ivan Milat. But they all went to some boys' school. And apparently the boys' school was so brutal in beating the shit out of all of them that it created an entire generation of psychopaths.
Holy shit, really? That's what happened to Ivan Milat. He went.
That's
to
why, like, you hear all of these psychos from the 70s that, like, beat a woman's head in with a rock and then rape them while they're dead. And then all of a sudden, like, when you come to our time, it's like, and there's still brutal murders and things, but it's like it's not that
caveman-esque.
Yeah.
What I thought was just that, like, we had come from criminal stock. You know, like Australia was founded by exporting criminals here.
Yeah, but our criminals stole bread.
Huh?
There wasn't that many murders and rapists there. They were mostly petty theft.
Stealing bread is the greatest crime of all.
You wouldn't understand this, not coming from a family of bakers.
If you can steal bread,
literally stealing food out of our mouths.
If you can steal bread, you're absent of all morals. So what's to say that you
stealing bread is the gateway drug to murder?
Yeah. Well, it's worse than murder.
Yeah. All right. If you can steal bread, you're capable of anything.
Murder is the gateway drug to stealing bread.
Yeah, murder is. Okay.
That's the true crime. Yeah.
All right.
There's going to be a whole chapter about how this guy stole bread.
Necrophilia is the gateway to murder. Murder is the gateway to stealing bread.
Yeah.
Stealing bread is the gateway ticket to Australia.
Delicious, crusty bread.
I didn't know you felt so passionately about bread.
I really don't. I really don't feel passionate about bread at all. After Bassett was sent to Morisset Psychiatric Hospital, Johnson visited him regularly, trying to get more information out of him. In 1975, Bassett gave him a painting he'd done entitled "A Bloody Awful Thing." Let's have a look at that. I want to see this painting.
Really? Oh my god.
Much of it at first, considering it to be quite...
Wow. That's a nice painting. I don't mind it. It's like
why is that a bloody awful thing?
It's nice. It's like a...
He's a really good painter. What an artist.
What do you call it? It's like a mangrove or a swamp or something at sunset.
I would have that in my house.
Yeah, honestly. It's really nice. Good color work. All right, that's enough of that. So Bassett gave him a painting he'd entitled "Done a Bloody Awful Thing." Johnson didn't think much of the seemingly drab abstract landscape painting at first, but upon closer inspection, he felt that it depicted the Wanda Beach crime scene, complete with blood trails, the broken knife blade, and the body of a victim.
Did it?
Seen from the perspective that only the killer could have experienced.
What the hell? Where is it?
He also believed it gave some clues as to the murders of Wilhelmina and Anna, whatever these supposed clues were not. Whatever these supposed clues were is not publicly known. Yeah, I want to see the painting again and see if we can find
much of it at first.
It's a fucked Where's Waldo.
Where's the broken knife and the body? There's maybe something there.
I was thinking, is that the knife there? Maybe.
It's not there.
Yeah, right. This police officer was insane.
Yeah, he's insane.
Deeply, deeply obsessed with the crime to the point where
he would have been very happy being that guy's cellmate in the criminally insane hospital.
Yeah, he was just as insane.
Two crackpots.
Like, what the fuck? I don't see any insinuation that there's a body in there at all.
Is that it?
Maybe.
See, this is really strange, Jackson. This is the point where you're supposed to strain your eyes and squint, and this is the only one where you've been wide-eyed.
Well, I'm surprised.
Ah, right.
Yeah, good point. I don't know when to correctly squint my eyes. It makes my life very difficult. After this, Johnson became even more convinced of Bassett's guilt. Of course, he even began working on a book about the case, but was killed in an accident before it could be published, meaning we will likely never get detailed insight into Johnson's reasoning and beliefs. Look, I'm not sure that's all too important, considering the fact that he was seeing crime scene evidence in a painting, in a beautiful painting of a sunset landscape painting.
Yeah, dude, that was honestly just like one of those.
Do not spill that.
I'm not going to. I'm very careful.
You spilled it. You spilled it. You spilled it. I saw that.
Yeah, but not on the carpet.
Why'd you fill it up so fucking much?
It wasn't my fault.
Look at this, guys.
It's entirely my fault.
I don't know if you guys can see this. Look how much he filled it up. It's like literally overflowing.
Well, I didn't realize. I just put like a little SS in there and then it just kept pouring out.
You're an insane man. This is like some home...
So I should be in the criminally insane hospital with them, should I?
This is like some... This is like some found footage shit.
Yeah, it is. Me kind of threateningly walking up as well.
Yeah. What's that noise?
Don't worry about it. That's not for your ears.
Hurry up and come back. I need to itch my ear.
How do you have such good hearing for someone with so much wax?
Well, no, because
you belong in a criminally insane hospital as well.
I itch... I itch my...
It's the wax, I tell you. The wax is what killed the girls.
I'm paranoid. That's why I itch so much. I'm trying to make sure that my ear canals are perfectly attuned for sound.
In case one of these predators comes up and mauls you.
Yeah. And
you can be ever vigilant and ready in your ultimate version of having martial arts, which is just being like,
not my ears. My source of power.
Please. That's
They're
my
all
most valuable.
They're all I got. After this, Johnson
That'd
became...
be so good. I bet you wake up in the middle of the night in fright, meeting Mike Tyson. That scares the shit out of you.
Well,
You just have this recurring dream over and over again that you're going for the heavyweight championship, and then he just in slow motion goes like, bites you. He's like, no!
After this, Johnson became even more convinced of Bassett's guilt. I read this. Other detectives were also skeptical about his theories and felt he was blinded by his obsession with Bassett. That being said, one person Johnson did convince was Bassett's own father to his son's guilt. What the fuck? So wait, this guy gave the police officer a painting, and he, in return, chooses to convince the guy's father that the guy's responsible for the murders.
Well, I mean, he's got a pretty good track record.
How ungrateful.
Oh, okay. I give you a nice painting, and this is how you repay me?
Yeah. Oh, wait, yeah, no, never mind. He did actually murder and rape someone previously, so it's entirely possible that he would have. It's not like it's just some random. Another key suspect was Christopher Wilder. Bizarrely, he originally came to police's attention as a potential suspect in the Wanda Beach murders when he died in the United States in 1984. Although this seems unconnected at first glance, closer inspection of Wilder's life reveals how it's a closer link than initially meets the eye. Wilder was born in Sydney in 1945 and was still living in the Ryde area in 1965 when Christine and Marianne were killed. Wilder had already had a run-in with New South Wales police previously after he had been charged with the gang rape of a woman on another Sydney beach in 1962, just a few years earlier. Wilder was just 17 at the time of that incident and got off on probation and electroshock therapy. He had a short-lived marriage of only a week in 1968 when his wife left him after he was accused of a string of sexual assaults. His wife also accused him of trying to kill her twice. He had even more issues with the law in 1969 when he lured a 19-year-old woman to a beach and convinced her to pose nude for photos. He then tried to force her to have sex with him. When she refused, he threatened to blackmail her with the photos. The woman escaped and went to police but never officially testified against him. After this, Wilder emigrated to the United States, settling in Florida, of course. Not long after this, he again began engaging in more sexual-related crimes, trying to coerce more women into posing for nude photos and for attempting to have sex with minors. Somehow, he managed to avoid getting into serious trouble for these.
Jesus, can I just note that we went on a little break just then? I had a hit piece article written about me that was extremely misleading and I was pissed off and mad. And then we come back straight into this and then we're barraged with all of that. All of what you said. I kind of gotten out of the zone again and forgotten. Then you come back and you're like, fuck, maybe we don't have that big of problems. It's maybe that's the reason that people like listening to serial killer stories, because it kind of puts you back and be like, whoa, life could be way worse, as in it could be extinguished like that. But also, everything that you just said then is so fucking intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes the Wanda Beach murders look tame.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty insane. And again, just the fact that it seems so lax in the 60s and stuff, where he can repeatedly gang rape like multiple women. He's basically whole life seems like a scheme to like basically sexually assault women. Like he's forcing
set it up that way.
Yeah, he's forcing them to pose for nude photos and then blackmailing them and coercing them into sex with the blackmailed photos, etc. And like that's his entire life, and yet the police have done absolutely nothing. They shocked him a few times when he was 17 with electroshock therapy, thinking that would solve the issue. And then they're like, all right, it's just what he does, I guess. Get out there and go do that. It's so insane. And it's no wonder that like serial killers were so prevalent during those times, or criminals were so vicious during those times, because they didn't really have much pushback. Really, ultimately, it seemed like it was way easier and way more possible to get away with those things, especially obviously with technology, where technology is now, but also just like the punishments were like way less extreme or substantive, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Also, I do like how much tinier you look in this little video preview now. You look like my little boy.
I do. I look like, what the hell?
Look at you.
Dude, I look like some sort of like cancer growth that grew off your back and then you scraped it and put it in a test tube, and I'm just like, yay, daddy.
There you go.
Yeah, look at me. Daddy, I'm hungry. I want to go into the sun. That's my source of energy, daddy.
No, don't get bigger. I'm the big dog in town.
Look at you. You are a giant.
I know.
You're Hagrid and I'm Moaning Myrtle the ghost if she was a midget. Was there any? I suppose I could have said Dobby the elf. Dobby the elf if he was a midget.
I'm a giant, both in stature and in heart.
And intellect.
And in intellect and wit and everything great. Penis size as well. Not long after this.
And a giant in humility.
Not long after this, he again began engaging in more sexual crimes. I've read that. A few years later, in the 70s, under the guise of being a fashion photographer, Wilder lured a schoolgirl out of a shopping center before drugging and raping her. Once again, he avoided serious trouble, receiving yet more probation and mandated therapy. Yes, of course, that's what he needs, therapy. In 1982, while visiting his parents in Sydney, he abducted two 15-year-old girls and forced them to take nude photographs. He was arrested by police soon after, but his parents posted his bail. He was then allowed to return to the USA while waiting for his trial to commence. And this is when Wilder truly became openly unhinged. In 1984, while back in the United States, Wilder went on a murderous rampage. He abducted, raped, tortured, and murdered 8 women across multiple states. If only there was some way to prevent the murder and rape of these 8 women. Perhaps maybe the fucking courts and the police actually doing their jobs and just fucking keeping him away from society, maybe, after maybe his 4th rape. Maybe that's when we can draw the line.
I don't understand. Yeah, what the hell is going on here?
Maybe then we can draw the line and be like, okay, maybe this guy is not going to be solved with electroshock therapy or just general therapy. Maybe he needs to be locked away and the key needs to be thrown away.
Every time we ever read one of these, I'm coming more around to your theory of how the society should actually work, which is being very fast and loose on executions. Walking down the street. I assume that you loitered. Execution. You walked into that Harry Potter store. Don't like it. Execution.
You're joking, but at the same time, like...
I'm not. Like, that is your view of the world. Fact. You think that anyone that should go into a Harry Potter store should be executed. You've said that multiple times on record. What?
I said she's a transphobe. No, but... What was I going to say? Fuck.
I don't know what you were going to say.
Okay.
It's always a mystery with you and your crazed ideas.
What I was going to say is that in not executing this man... the courts and the police signed the execution for 8 other women, innocent women.
Okay, that's a fucking sick campaign slogan. Jackson, black and white, looking all tough, and then it just says execute or be executed. The execution party. Get executed or die executed.
It's execute or be executed.
That's a great way of saying it. If we don't sign the death warrants of people that are vaguely suspicious, then we're signing the death warrants of others.
Yes, this guy was not vaguely suspicious. He had already raped.
No. I'm saying that, yeah, but I'm saying if we just go with your thing of just randomly executing people, at some point you would. Chances are that he'd get caught in the drag.
or he'd be left with even less people to like actually hold him to account. No. He'd find people who would prey on. He attempted to do the same thing.
Yes.
He attempted to do...
Okay, so mandatory execution of everyone in society.
Anyone who...
Including yourself.
No, it's just anyone who commits extreme violent crimes repeatedly. I think that's totally fair to then be like, okay, well, we've given you multiple chances.
Look at this backtrack. No, it's not what he used to say.
What?
Nah, it's not what... As soon as he gets some pushback on it, he immediately walks back his points.
It's not what you...
Coward.
It's not what you used to say about me. It's not what you used to say that I say.
What?
It's not what you used to say that I say. I've never said what you just said.
Yeah, you always used to say that.
No, you say it.
No, we've got records of it. You can go look at it on that thread. Go find the footage. It's out there. He used to want mandatory executions of everyone in society. And then as soon as you bring that up, he goes like, no, I only ever said violent criminals. That's all I ever said, violent criminals. Where I distinctly remember him saying he wanted everyone in Harry Potter getting executed. That was his words. He's on record saying it just before. He wants J.K. Rowling murdered because of her political views.
Don't.
So that's a violent criminal now.
Yeah, I'm a violent criminal. I should be executed for wanting executions.
Yeah, and you're going to run on that.
Yeah.
If I win, the first death warrant, day one, the first death warrant I'll sign is my own. I will, for bringing about all of these murders, the biggest mass murder in history. If that doesn't justify an execution, I don't know what does.
I'm the most ineffective political leader ever. Immediately kills himself.
No, okay, all right. You first pass on the Mandatory Execution Act. And then the first person executed in that is you. And you get in on a super majority. And you make sure that the last people to be executed is everyone else in your party. To make sure that everything else does it. But you lead by example.
I make it mandatory as part of the law that anyone who tries to repeal
it's executed. People are calling it the most ironclad law ever written. There is no way of repealing it. There is no way. He's done it. He's done what Mitch McConnell could not.
We're stuck with it.
He's done it.
There's no way. There's no way out.
Oh, that's so good. In classic Jackson, you have fallen right into my trap.
Which I will not see the fruits of because I will be the first one dead.
That's so good. I have a guaranteed way of ensuring that no one is ever murdered ever again. Society-wide executions that are unrepealable. Unrepealable and no parole, no, what's the word again when you go and like get it done again? Probation or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. There is go to jail, go directly to jail, get executed.
Oh, fuck.
That'll be so good.
My political aspirations are grand in nature.
It is a very ambitious platform to run on.
But if enough people vote for it, I will have the will of the power behind me. It will be a mandate.
The people's mandate.
Fuck. He attempted to do the same thing to 3 more women who managed to escape him. Once again, he was doing this by luring women away from a shopping mall by pretending to be a fashion photographer. Wilder, now firmly a serial killer, was aptly given the title of the beauty queen killer for his targeting of young and attractive women. He quickly became one of the most wanted people in the States, and on the 13th of April 1984, during a struggle with police in New Hampshire, he accidentally killed himself. Okay. What an anticlimax. So that's a photo of him right there. This should be up on screen right now. This old photo of Christopher Wilder with a little police plaque in front of him, looking all old. It does kind of match the description. Like, didn't they say he was like kind of this suspect was bald?
Yeah, but he's balding.
No, he's bald. He's bald.
You reckon?
Yeah, he's just got the side things. What do we call those?
No, he's got a nice little quiff at the top. He looks like Boss Baby with a boss beard.
Okay.
I think he's very handsome and a good person, and I think that he should be released.
No.
So you are going to run on the mass execution party, and I will run on the mass release party. There is no crime too heinous that cannot be forgiven. This is what happens. You just go into court, and it's like confession. Even if you don't confess and you say, like, I'm not guilty, he still says, you are absolved. I will give you a second chance. I'll start up the second chance party. You start up the mass execution party. And that becomes like the new opposition. And like they keep going in and out of power.
What happens with the second chance? Like when the second chance party releases the criminal and then the criminal murders again. Third chance?
No, it's always just second chance.
Right.
It's always just like, okay, well,
no record.
You killed one person and that's your second chance. Don't kill one person again. And by that logic, because he's killed 2 people.
Yeah.
And also, he's not killing the same person. So you have a second chance yet again to not do this problem.
Well,
so, like, it is a I am just as successful in my logic as you are.
I like my party more.
Oh, really? I would have never guessed. That's incredible. Guys, this just in. Someone who started a party thinks that their party is good.
Given his slew of sexual-related crimes and misdemeanors, plus the fact that he lived in Riot at the time, it's easy to see why some people believe him to be the Wanda Beach killer. Investigation regression images of Wilder were shown to the left on this document. I don't know why I just said left. Investigative regression images of Wilder against Wolfgang's description of the surfer boy matched relatively well. So remember, that photo up here would have been taken like 20 years after. And then so regression images of him, he would have looked like that, which is exactly like a young, white-haired, long-haired surfer boy. So it's potential. There's potential here for this one. Though, as we've already covered, Wolfgang's description was vague at best. Police were also interested in Wilder's potential connection to the murders after his death, going so far as to reopen the case in order to investigate any links that might have finally solved the already almost 20-year-old case at the time. New South Wales police also requested a blood sample from USA authorities, hoping that future DNA testing technology might help them in their investigation. The main reason that might suggest that Wilder wasn't the Wanda Beach killer was that although he was certainly a sexual deviant, Wilder was not proven to have committed any murders before his spree in 1984. That being said, he was also a suspect in other abductions and murders of women in both Australia and the United States before then. However, if those were untrue, then to have brutally attacked and killed 2 girls, only to go back to committing lesser crimes before finally murdering again almost 20 years later, seems atypical. So we come up to Derek Percy. Next up is by far the worst of the 3 names so far, that being Derek Percy.
They all really have fucked gazes, don't they?
We're looking at
they all look very predatory and handsome.
We're looking at the photo right now of Derek Percy. He's got the exact same facial expression or gaze as the guy up here. What was his name? Alan Bassett. That look, really...
Dude, we literally are suspects. Look at it. Alan, that's you. And then Percy's me. It's fucking got them. But both of them have just had their faces elongated out on Photoshop.
Yeah. Look at him though. He's got that just absence of any absence of any humanity behind those eyes.
He's got the crazy stare.
Yeah.
He's got that.
Just absolutely.
And Jackson,
nothing.
on the other hand, has a stare of pure love and forgiveness.
Well, that's why I squint so much.
It's very strange that he's head of the execution party.
I squint so much because there's just so much love behind these eyes. It gets a bit overwhelming.
Yes, okay. And you can't see how anybody else could be capable of such hate. That's the squint. That's the strain in your eyes. Really? Much. You don't love?
The world is too painful. I mean, a constant state of pain.
I think that actually is a very good description for you.
The world is too painful?
The world gives me nothing but pain, for I have nothing but love to give. And it keeps defeating me.
Next up is by far the worst... I've read that.
No, you already read that, Jackson.
No, I'm getting lost.
Lost in this man's gaze.
He was the prime suspect in the murder of multiple young children across Australia in the mid to late 1960s, some as young as 3 years old.
Oh my God.
Somehow...
Still handsome, though.
Somehow...
You don't think?
No, not after finding out that he has just murdered multiple 3-year-olds. No, I don't find him particularly handsome.
No, he's like a bad guy, but like he's got that same thing that all fucked serial killers have. They always have that, like...
A lot of them.
Why?
A lot of, like, what's his name? The fucking handsome Ted Bundy.
Handsome Pete.
Handsome
Pete, the serial killer.
No, Ted Bundy. Like, yeah, there are handsome serial killers, yes.
Fucking hell, 3-year-olds.
Somehow the statement...
Dude, I'm telling you, don't, come on, pay this.
You're even tinier.
They don't make them like that anymore.
You're even tinier now. Oh, SpongeBob. Oh, God, that stunk.
Don't make fun of me. No, you're going to have to get used to the smell now.
I am getting shockingly used to the smell. Even in his teenage years, Percy was reportedly a loner who was hard to talk to and get to know. He lived in the small Victorian town of Mount Beauty in 1964 and was believed to be responsible for women's underwear going missing from clotheslines and houses in the area. Reportedly, 2 of his schoolmates at the time spotted him at a local swimming spot walking around in women's lingerie before taking out a pair of women's underwear and stabbing them repeatedly with a knife. Who could have seen where this story would lead? When they confronted him about it at school, Percy denied it. Disturbingly, it was around this time that Percy started keeping journals. In them, he would write about explicit sexual fantasies involving children. By 1966, he was living in another small town in Cancabarn, southern New South Wales. While living there at about the age of 18, he lured the 2 young girls who lived next door to him into a caravan where he convinced them to remove their pants. Fortunately, he was caught by the girl's father before things went any further, but the father opted to let Percy's father discipline him instead rather than going to the police. Percy's journal entries only continued to get more darker and more violent after this incident. If you can think of the most heinous and disgusting sexual fetishes imaginable, chances are that Percy had written about them in his journals. So, like foot fetishism. In 1967, that's as far as my imagination will go. In 1967,
You're so pure, Jackson.
in 1967, he joined the Navy and it ended up being posted to a naval base located on the Mornington Peninsula, south of Melbourne, in 1969. It was here that he abducted and murdered 12-year-old Yvonne Toohey.
More kids.
Yvonne Toohey at Ski Beach on the 27th of July, 1969. Abducted and murdered a 12-year-old. He had also tried to abduct Yvonne's friend, 11-year-old Shane Spiller. However, he escaped and contacted police immediately and described Percy to them. Police quickly located him at the naval base as he listened to a report of the missing girl while trying to wash blood out of his clothes.
Really?
Although he initially denied the murder, shortly afterwards he confessed and led police to Yvonne's mutilated body.
Whoa.
Oh my God, here we go. Here we go. Here we fucking go. In 1970, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity for the murder and remanded for the murder and remanded indefinitely. He would never be released from police custody until his death in 2013 when he died of lung cancer. Although he continually stated that he didn't remember if he had committed any other crimes or murders, police hoped that he would eventually confess to more of the suspected murders on his deathbed. However, no such confessions came. So if Derek Percy had been living in a different part of the country at the time, how could he have been linked to the Wanda Beach murders? Police had been linking his whereabouts and travels to multiple murders, including that of Christina Marianne. His family had been known to take their caravan and go holidaying around multiple beaches, which were where the murders linked to him had happened. Specifically, he had been visiting his grandparents in Ryde at the time of the Wanda Beach murders at a house nearby to where Christina Marianne lived. Based on police identikits, the description of the boy that Christina Marianne had been speaking to on the train on their way to Cronulla Beach was similar to that of Percy, though it's never been confirmed if it was indeed him. He certainly didn't match Wolfgang's descriptions of the surfer boy, though ultimately there is still no concrete evidence tying Percy to the murders. Isn't it like insane that this one day where these two teenage girls went on a train to the beach, pull up multiple possible connections to other like large prolific serial killers at the time, like so much that the police think that like this guy talked to them on the train, and meanwhile the guy that was spotted on the beach with them may have been that other murderer who went to America, stuff like that. Like there's so many potential serial killers or just murderers or horrible people that these these young girls had the misfortune of potentially being around. Like I get that they didn't meet every single one of them, but the police think like it's a possibility that both of these, this person on the train and the person at the beach, might have either been multiple different serial killers. Like there's so
fucking hell, that is There's so many just like floating around.
It really makes you think about like how many on a day-to-day basis, how many just like truly fucked up individuals you meet.
But this is what I'm wondering: like, are people this fucked up anymore?
Yes. Look how
I know that they obviously exist, but like on this scale. Yes. My inputs give me pats.
You're contributing. Good job.
I'm helping. Small man contributes in small ways.
Yeah, but I think people are, if not the same level of fucked up, potentially more fucked up by and large, due to how socially reclusive we've become as a people.
That's what I'm saying. So you sit out there watching bestscore.com all day, but you don't go out and enact it.
No, I think it's just like police are getting better at catching them.
Like, of course. Actually, that could make a lot of sense. Yes.
You still see.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really
cases.
That might actually be it. And then they can get them off the streets a lot quicker so they can't keep going on these like bonus kills like these guys did back in the day. Yeah,
think about like those, what was that guy, Chris Watts, for example, the guy that like killed his wife and his two kids and then hid them in a like a giant drain, what do you call it, like a giant drum outside. But like there's people like that where like they kill so viciously and so violently for their own selfish reasons, where it's like if they hadn't been caught, like it's entirely possible that for the next 10 years they're just a serial killer that kills and rapes. Like if they hadn't been so bad at it that they were then immediately caught, then yeah, who knows how far and long it would have gone on for. Because yeah, again, I truly don't think a person who is capable of murdering and killing 3 people like that, like in the Chris Watts case, violently and selfishly, I truly don't believe they just stopped there. They're like, all right, I've got it out of my system. That's it. Like clearly they'd be able to do it again for those sexual, selfish purposes. Ivan Milat. While not as mainstream or substantial as a suspect in the Wanda Beach murders, this link has spurred some intriguing conversation in recent times. Being arguably Australia's most notorious serial killer, the late Ivan Milat has managed to find himself in the center of some theories surrounding the Wanda Beach case. Taking place in 1965, Milat would have been 19 years old at the time of the murders, with an established pattern of robberies, breaking, entering, and other violent assaults at his young age. Not only was Milat within the age bracket of the suspected killer, but he also matched the physical description given by witnesses of the young man seen on the beach. In addition, the released identikit of the potential suspects holds a striking resemblance to photos of Milat at the time. I think that's there. What do you think?
I think it's on point.
It's very close.
It's really close. Except for in the photo, for some reason, the man's left eyebrow is very close to its right eyebrow.
This one?
Yeah. And we can only assume that that's because that's factually what that man looks like and not because the guy's a shit.
Wait. To be fair, like, look at the eyebrows. They're, like, exactly the same in the photo.
I'm telling you, man, I honestly do think that it's Ivan Milat, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I was listening once to a 2-hour-long meth rant from a politician that kept being like, I'm telling you, it's Milat. Basically that cop that was just being like, it's him. But, man, I think that he's right about it.
The more I look at this, and again, I'm really bad with faces, that's like a 1-to-1. Like the eyes...
actually, all right. Now I've taken it back because you think it.
Yeah, don't trust.
Don't trust. Dude, you could give a photo of King Charles III to Jackson, and then he'd look at it and be like,
is that my mom?
Is that LaToya Jackson?
Look at it though. The right eyebrow raises in this one, same way that this one does. It's like exactly the same. Weirdly so. All right, so the case. Sorry. Where this theory becomes muddy is in the details of Milat's whereabouts during the period of the murders. Around December of 1964 or January 1965, when the murders took place, Milat was reportedly being transferred from Long Bay to Emu Plains Prison Farm, far west of Sydney. The exact date of this transfer isn't clear. However, Emu Plains Prison Farm was a low-security and fenceless correctional facility with no security guards. Oh my God. Allowing prisoners to leave during the day should they get approval. This means that Milat may have had the opportunity to find his way to Cronulla for whatever reason during this time there. Although the connection is certainly a stretch, New South Wales State Parliamentary member Jeremy Buckingham
There we go.
Saw an inquiry into the possible link with support from the New South Wales Premier in 2025. Although only convicted of 7 murders, Ivan Milat has been said to have been tied to dozens of unsolved murders and disappearances, and it's unlikely we'll ever know if Marianne and Christine were victims of his indiscriminate violence. And the cold case gets reopened over the years. The Wanda Beach murders have been periodically reopened and re-examined over the years in attempts to find new fragments of evidence that might provide the missing puzzle pieces to solve the case. However, no such efforts so far have been successful. In 2012, scientific breakthroughs in DNA testing prompted police to retest the clothes that Christine and Marianne were wearing at the time of their murder. The testing was moderately successful, as they managed to find a tiny amount of blood on Christine's shorts that belonged to a male. However, it was still deemed a weak clue as to the killer's identity, especially considering it was already known to be a male. However, even with the technological advances at the time, it was unfortunately not enough to give more specific identification. To make matters worse, in 2014, police announced that the semen sample that had been taken from Marianne at the time of the murder had been lost despite exhaustive searches. Of course, the concept of DNA testing was virtually inconceivable in 1965. To make matters worse, in 2014, police announced that the semen sample that had been taken from Marianne at the time of the murder had been lost despite extensive and exhaustive searches. Of course, the concept of DNA testing was virtually inconceivable in 1965. Police at the time would have had little to no idea that it would have been possible in the future, and this could have potentially led to the sample being handled less sensitively than it ought to have been. Alternatively, it may have been pure bad luck that the sample went missing. Either way, this update dealt a major blow to any chance of the case being solved with DNA testing in the future. So fucking stupid. But I get it. Like, it was the 60s. They would have had no clue how far we would have come. And of course, in the 60s, it seemed like the police and the courts really wanted people out there murdering for whatever reason. It is not publicly known if the fragment of the broken knife blade that was found on the beach is still in the police's possession, or if any DNA testing has been conducted on the blood that was still on it. The state of the case today. This all now brings us to the present day. Over 60 years on from the murders, the case remains unsolved and open, and is New South Wales' oldest unsolved homicide case. The police file on the case is over 10,000 pages long, and over 14,000 people have been interviewed regarding the murders. Unfortunately, although the $20,000 reward offer for information still stands, it has never been adjusted for inflation, meaning its value has decreased substantially. The most recent breakthrough for the case has just surfaced as of February 2026, though it isn't confirmed by police as of yet. True crime investigators Mark Llewellyn and Andy Byrne have conducted a multi-year investigation into the Wanda Beach murders and believe that Christopher Wilder was indeed the Wanda Beach killer. This was spurred by a woman coming forward to them and claiming that her mother, who had been 15 years old in 1965, was continually pestered by Wilder at the Top Ride shopping center. Reportedly, he would continually ask her to go with him to Wanda Beach. The shopping center was just 5 minutes from Wilder's family home at the time, and possibly where he'd been working a casual job at a retail store. Reportedly, the store had uncovered a book of his which was filled with girls' names and phone numbers. This was something he was known to do while living in the States, keeping meticulous notes of the girls and women he spoke to and photographed. It was also insinuated that Wilder emigrated to the United States in 1969 in an attempt to avoid questioning about the Wanda Beach case. If these claims are true, it could well point to Wilder as the killer. However, it's stated that this has not been confirmed by an official police investigation as of yet. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I think that seems like we'll never truly know, but I think that's probably the closest one that fits and makes sense to me.
All right. Just go down what you think happened.
What do you mean what I think happened?
What do you think happened at the Wanda Beach murders?
I think he probably this Christopher Wilder guy did his same trick that he had done with many other girls, which was to take them, convince them to come be photographed by him privately or whatever, and he took them back there and maybe plied them with a bit of alcohol. And then they were like, "No, we don't actually want to take photos. We're gonna leave now." And he flew into a rage and killed them and assaulted them before he could take photos of them. So their rejection fueled him snapping and killing them. And he's got that in him. Like, he went on to kill 8 people in America. So that's what I think happened.
So Milat, no.
Well, Milat was in prison at the time, so I think that's a pretty far stretch, honestly.
No, I can't remember what the qualification was for that.
Pretty sure he was pretty far away. He could have traveled there in time and done it. I just think it's way more likely that the serial killer who had killed 8 people in very similar ways and had a habit of taking photos of girls on beaches and then blackmailing them and sexually coercing them, would then go on to do this at the time where he was living near the beach. Like, it lines up too much.
It does. You're right.
It's highly possible that someone still knows something and either hasn't come forward, or if they did, that their tip-off was lost in the mountains of reports and calls that detectives were getting during the peak of their investigation. Hopefully this new tip-off about Wilder will amount to some more investigations being done into the murders to solve the case. Unfortunately, though, as the years and decades go on, it's less and less likely that eyewitnesses will still be alive and that any remaining physical evidence will remain intact and not lost to time. So in conclusion, the Wanda Beach murders marked a devastating shift in the Australian psyche, where adolescents' independence and the collective illusion of safety were forever shattered by the brutal loss of life. Families now faced a harsh reality that unfettered violence could strike at any moment for no apparent reason. The Schmidt siblings moved on with their lives and have occasionally returned to the media for comment when public attention returns to the case, braving through the unanswered questions left in the wake of their sister and friend's callous end. Even with current investigators confident that Christopher Wilder is the likely culprit, his premature death decades ago leaves little room for justice to be served, assuming he was indeed the killer. It's uncertain whether police will close out the investigation over the coming years, or if their scramble to find the lost DNA samples will result in any new leads. Regardless, both Marianne and Christine's lasting memory will be embellished by their powerful friendship and kindness. So there we go. Again, I think it was Wilder, personally. I think that's the most likely suspect, who I can say probably is like, again, he was in the area and the MO fits him as well. I think it's a bit early for him to be killing, but considering like he only, as far as we know, he only started killing when he emigrated to America. But I don't think that precludes the opportunity or the potential for him to have killed previously.
Yeah.
Like to go on an 8-person killing spree as well.
Not bad. It's not a bad fucking lead, really.
Yeah, so honestly, that's where I'm at. That's where I think it is. But yeah, the Wanda Beach murders will remain unsolved probably for our lifetimes. Hopefully something changes, but I mean, that's a pretty cold case. It's pretty far back. 60 years.
It is a really strange one. Every now and then, though, with these cold cases, somebody kind of snaps and goes to the police and says, oh, it was them. A lot of the time it's their kids.
Yeah, but I don't think, again, if it's Wilder, he doesn't have kids as far as I know, and
yeah, I know that, but like somebody close.
I don't know. Hopefully, it would be nice to have an answer for the siblings of the murdered victims,
who would be what in their
they'd be themselves in the 70s, and they've gone their whole lives not knowing. It's pretty brutal. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Red Thread. Sorry for it being so messy and stuff. These episodes were recorded in a hotel room, and we had multiple microphone issues. So, and we got to go we got to check out in 20 minutes. So we got to rush. Other than that, though, official.men 7-day free trial. You can get early access to these sloppy episodes if you do like sloppy episodes. And
who doesn't?
And go buy tickets to Jordan's live show and see why we're so sloppy at the moment.
Exactly.
Right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.